Last week, we explored the practical applications of typography together. Today, we are going to dive deep into the core design principles of typography, learning how to precisely define font sizes and line heights using clear mathematical logic. Let's get started. This is the most critical part of typography, and at the same time, the one that practitioners struggle with the most. Follow along closely as we master typography using precise formulas and grids, leaving guesswork behind. I will show you how to determine font sizes through clear rules rather than a designer's intuition. We will explore the principles of starting from a base size to build a harmoniously scaling font system, bringing consistent order to your entire user interface. Are you still choosing font sizes by eye or intuition? If every designer uses different values, the consistency of the screen will break down in no time. Let's move away from random numbers and create perfect visual harmony through structured rules. Every rule needs a starting point. Why exactly 16 pixels? Because it is the default standard for web browsers and the gold standard for readability, allowing the human eye to read most comfortably on mobile screens. Every single font size in our system will start right here from these 16 pixels. Choosing the right ratio can feel overwhelming, right? You can simply use the official mathematical ratios from typescale.com. For a high-density data dashboard packed with information, choose a tight ratio like 1.067. If you are designing a marketing page that needs to grab attention, go with a bolder ratio like 1.250. Now, let's see how other design systems utilize these values. Material Design 3 scales its text styles across label, body, title, headline, and display to create distinct visual contrast. Among these, body large is set as our baseline at 16 pixels. To step up from body to title, we need a bolder jump, so we scale it up using a perfect fourth. When moving from title to headline, we need an even more powerful contrast, so we expand it using a perfect fifth. To go from headline to display, where we need the absolute maximum impact, we amplify the size by combining the golden ratio with a major second. Finally, for the label, we scale down from our 16-pixel body large baseline using a minor third. After calculating these values, we convert any decimals into whole integers and apply final optical adjustments to determine the ultimate sizes. As we move up the hierarchy, we intentionally vary the multiplying ratios to ensure our eyes can clearly perceive the difference in scale. Now let's take a closer look at each specific group. Within every category, font sizes are systematically organized into large, medium, and small. In the display group, the sizes scale based on a major third ratio. For the headline and title groups, we applied a minor third ratio. However, for title large, we multiplied the minor third twice to create a more distinct visual contrast between the sizes. You can also see that the body and label groups scale using a major second. Once again, all decimals were converted into whole integers and refined with optical adjustments to finalize the ultimate sizes. On the other hand, Ant Design, which focuses on data-dense desktop web screens, chose an intuitive addition rule instead of a complex multiplication formula. The sizes step up by 2 pixels, 4 pixels, or by 8 pixel units, where a larger visual contrast is needed. This is an excellent way to safely lock in font sizes, ensuring that layouts do not break on screens with high information density. Ultimately, there is no absolute right answer when it comes to typography scales. If your mobile screen requires bold and dynamic scaling, choose a multiplication logic like Google. If precise, compact alignment is crucial on a complex web screen, go with an addition logic like Ant Design. Please design a custom set of rules unique to your product, tailored specifically to its distinct character and purpose. Once you have determined the font sizes, it is time to set the size of the room where those letters will sit. Welcome to the line height rule session. Going beyond simply adjusting line spacing, we will explore the line height calculation rules that snap text boxes onto our design system's vertical grid like a magnet. Do you remember when we discussed the bounding box while learning about typography properties last time? Only when you can manage the height of that bounding box will the vertical grid of your entire product align perfectly. There are two main ways to define line heights in a design system. The first is using absolute pixels to lock in a fixed number, and the second is using relative percentages that adapt flexibly to the font size. While many design system guides recommend fixing the values in pixels, percentages are also widely used in actual development. The biggest advantage of absolute pixel values is perfect control. For example, converting a 150% line height on 16 pixels results in a clean, even 24 pixels. However, converting that same 150% on 14 pixels gives you an awkward odd number of 21 pixels. Therefore, when building complex financial dashboards or enterprise software, it is often much more advantageous to force and lock the line heights into absolute 4-pixel multiples, such as 20 pixels or 24 pixels. Does this mean using percentages is wrong? Absolutely not. If you look at KRDS, South Korea's official public standard design system, the line heights for all headings are completely unified at 150%. By locking values into relative percentages like this, the size of the room automatically scales in harmony with the changing font sizes. This simplifies maintenance and makes managing the design system much easier. However, there is a technical limitation in Figma. Even if you establish a relative percentage rule like 150%, just like the public standard design system, you cannot enter percentage units when registering them into Figma variables. This is because the number type in variables only accepts absolute pixel values. Ultimately, to perfectly implement a design system within Figma, you must manually calculate the final pixel numbers after the percentage equations and input those values. Ultimately, there is no absolute right answer for line heights in a design system. If your product requires strict control over a 4-pixel multiple grid, it is best to adjust with absolute pixel values from the start. On the other hand, if you are building a universal web system, you can compromise by writing the code at 150% while inputting the calculated pixel values into Figma variables. I hope you apply rules to your own design system that thoughtfully consider both tool limitations and your product's unique character. With that, we have wrapped up the typography, which is the most challenging and critical part of the process. The true essence of the rules we learned today comes down to just one thing. It is about moving away from a designer's intuition and creating a mathematical order and data structure that allows the design system to scale on its own. A design system truly comes alive only when you add realistic, practical adjustments onto the mathematical formulas, carefully considering both your product's distinct character and tool limitations. Thank you so much for your hard work today. I'm Dudu.